I remember when I was a young kid, just thinking about Christmas and coming of age and thinking about that Swiss Army knife.
Oh, I loved the idea of getting a knife when I was a kid. It was always the item, if you liked hunting and fishing and stuff, that would be like your rite of passage is to get your first knife.
It definitely was the rite of passage. And, once you got your first Swiss Army knife, then it was like, okay, I'm in the game now. And it was always those red little Swiss Army knives with the plastic toothpick on it. Then you had the knife and the cool little scissors that you try to cut stuff with. And once you had one of those, you were in.
What's up, guys? Langosta and JoJo here.
How's it?
Today, we're talking heavy metal. We're talking steel, baby.
ColdSteel.
So we got a little knife collection. We'll be talking about our hunting collection and our everyday carry, and even some of the tactical knives that I've acquired over the years. So I got browbeaten, JoJo, by Brian because I only had 2 or 3 knives on me this morning.
And now here in the moment, I think there's a little more than just 2 or 3 knives.
There's a few knives on here. So since our show is hunting and fishing, let's start with the hunting knives.
Okay, let's do that.
So show the crowd, show the audience what you got and why you have it, and what's been the latest of your collection that you've gotten.
I'll do that. And to be honest here, Langosta, when I brought my knives, I was like, okay, well, how many am I going to bring? And then when I saw what you had, I said, God, this guy must got like some little Filipino in him or some type of Filipino in him because
Filipino people. I love the Filipino people.
Me being Filipino, I thought I had a lot of knives. And I come here and it's just like, wow.
Well, there's a little bit of everything, and we'll talk about where I got some of these and why I got them.
We'll talk through it. And just to mention to the folks out there, we are going to be going live. So I know we've got some great feedback on our live shows. We love doing live shows. So we're just going to put it out there and say, guess what? Every first Tuesday of the month, Rifles, Rods, and Broads will be broadcasting live on YouTube as well as Facebook on our live streams. Langosta, myself, we're going to be coming to you live 7 p.m. So mark your calendars, whether you got your Android or your Apple. Put those reminders out there. We'll send you notifications to let you know that we're going to be going live. But the plan is to go live every single Tuesday or every single first Tuesday of every month at 7 p.m. And if there are any changes to that due to other things that need to get done, then we'll send notifications out to you and let you guys know. But the plan is at least once a month to go live.
And if you haven't done so already, please make sure you like and hit the little bell.
We do appreciate it.
So you get your notification. And by all means, please comment because it helps with the algorithm. All right, so let's get into it. What of the stuff that you have on the table, what's your favorite? What do you carry the most often?
So I'm going to go through my stuff pretty quickly and let you get over to your stuff and ask you a ton of questions about what you got going on. Okay. But basically what I brought was my real basic setup on what I carry on a daily basis, my EDC along with my hunting knife. Also what I got in the bag as well. So I'm going to take my trusty number 2 pencil that I've got right here.
Your pointer.
Look at that, nicely sharpened.
Well, it is a sharp show today.
And the first one that I'm going to start off with is just kind of my I don't care about, but as long as it's got an edge, I'll have it on me. And this is my little Gerber right here. This is straight from Sam's Club. Every year around this time of year, there's going to be a sale, and you can find a package of 3 with these. And these Gerbers here, they're real easy to operate. They've got some good weight to them. The blade is actually a really good blade, and and once sharpened to where it needs to be, it holds its edge pretty dang nicely. So that's kind of like the everyday kind of deal. My upgraded EDC or everyday and what I take on every single hunting trip is going to be this Benchmade knife right here. So this Benchmade knife that I've got right here is the Benchmade bug out knife. The thing that I like about this is that it gets really sharp. And also too, what I really like about it, especially while out in the field, is that, you know, obviously you're going to be hiking out there, you're going to be hunting, and this thing is super light. So there's the grip, the handle, it's made of composite material, so it is super light. This is the Benchmade bug out, and the steel does hold very, very well. The locking mechanism, awesome. Benchmade, known for it. By the way, company started by Filipinos. Filipino
people, we love them.
It's got that butterfly logo because us Filipinos love that butterfly knife. But this is the Benchmade bug out. And again, this is a really good knife. It feels good in the hand. It's got good grip. The grip itself is very ergonomic. It's got that great Benchmade locking system that is super simple, spring loaded. Just take that down right there. Again, a very good knife that really holds its edge once it sharpens. And also too, something that I think is important while out in the field is that it's very easy to sharpen itself. So,
sure. Yeah,
you know, just a couple swipes and then you're good to go.
I like that knife. I like the shape of it. I like I do have a tendency to I've kind of been attracted to the dark blades.
It's nice, right?
Yeah, it's very nice. I like it.
Yeah, it's nice. You know, and to be honest with you, I don't take care of like my knives as I should. So there's some rust spots on there still with that type of blade style. But you know, just add some characteristics to it.
I call it the bush patina.
the bush patina.
The bush patina.
And then I will say my favorite knife that I have here is also, again, made by Benchmade. And this is the Benchmade Steel Country. And what I like about this knife is that this is when the animal is down, this puppy comes out. And this is what I will use whenever breaking down an animal, from skinning to kind of getting in between the joints. It's got enough thickness to where I can get my blade in there, pop some tendons, pop some joints. It is a fixed blade, so it's nothing that, you know, you got to worry about kind of collapsing on you.
Yeah.
And it's steel all the way down with this rubberized grip. It's got a really good feel to it that I've come accustomed to while out in the field. It's got this right here on this top part here, you've got two grips. Okay, these notches here. This one's perfect just for the thumb. And then as you're kind of like finessing, you're coming down, you can put your index finger on the top of there, and it's got those notches for that grip too. So this is a really good blade. Really nice steel. Again, something that I really like. It's super easy to sharpen in the field.
Yeah.
So you're not going to have to like, you know, go crazy and say, okay, well, like, you know, it's not difficult to sharpen while you're out in the field with a simple kind of like a pocket sharpener or what have you. But this knife right here, this is the Steel Country. This is from Benchmade again. Really nice knife, light. I carry this one in my pack, and this one, whenever it does come out, it's kind of like a celebratory knife session
you got meat on the ground.
There's meat on the ground, and it's time to get to work, and it's always done well.
Nice. I like that. I like that knife. I think it's so. How do you carry it? So I see you've got the plastic sheet. Do you just put it in your backpack?
I just put it in my. This one stays in my backpack. So this one stays in my backpack. This one is kind of in my kill kit. I've got a couple of different bags in my bag in my pack that come out, and this one's kind of in the kill kit bag.
Okay.
So this one's in there with a couple of different items. I've got my latex gloves, my fire starter. It's kind of like the emergency / kill kit that is easily accessible in my pack. That's where I ride that. And then this was the one that's kind of like pocket, always on me.
Yeah.
This is the one that, that has gone through the washing machine probably about a handful of times just because you forget that it's hooked into your pocket.
Yeah.
And then when you're looking for it, it's like, oh shit, where did it go? And the first place I check is the last pair of pants or shorts that I wore. And that's usually where it's found.
Bingo.
Yeah. So it smells fresh every time, just like Downy.
Right on. It gets the rotted meat smell out of it.
It does.
In the nooks and crannies after butchering something with it.
Yeah, so that was my 4 minutes of knives, and on to your 45 minutes of knives. Langosta, where are we going to start?
Well, let's start in the beginning.
That's where it always starts, right?
So this little buck knife here, it's probably got like a 2.5-inch blade. It's not a very big blade. It's made in the U.S. Most of the bucks are. They started making them overseas, and everybody revolted because, by the way, most people don't know this. Buck knives started in California.
Oh yeah,
yeah. They moved out of state because of California's, difficulty in fabricating. But it has a really cool. That's why I like that Benchmade. It has a very similar. This for me, this is one of my favorite kind of go-to knives for skinning and stuff because of the shape. You end up. It prevents you from cutting the cape, so you can get a nice clean cape if you're going to do a shoulder mount. But there's a kind of a cool story behind this knife, because this knife was the only knife that I had in the tent when I shot that big elk that's at the gun club.
Nice.
I left the other 3 knives in a backpack or in a bag in the car 7 miles away.
Smart.
Yeah, not so smart. So this is that hunt that we did in Colorado, out of a base camp that you had to take a horse to get up to. There's no mechanized machinery up there, so you had to take the horseback ride at 6-7 miles into the bush. Anyway, to your point, this was the knife that I had in my front pocket. This is the knife you use to cut rope and all that stuff. But luckily, I had sharpened everything before I went on my trip, and it was razor sharp. So I butchered a 600-pound elk with only this knife. The whole thing, the gutting, the skinning, and I deboned it because it was so heavy. So this knife did all of the work. It's a really nice little knife, super smooth operation, and hard steel. Not much to it, but a cool little.
And you can add the asterisk as proven.
It is proven. So for those of you that think that knife's too small to butcher an animal, you're wrong.
It's really not. It might just take some time, but as long as you got a good quality knife on you, you're good to go. It took a long
time, and I made a concerted effort to not cut into the hair. I did all the cutting from under the skin up. So
kind of maintain that edge.
Yeah, I did the whole freaking elk with that.
That's crazy, man.
So that's my.
And it's got the buck name on it.
Yeah.
You know, growing up as kids, you always think about like knives as Swiss Army knives, and you know, you graduate to a buck knife.
Yes. So
that's the next step.
It's an upgrade.
If you've got a buck knife, you've got a knife.
Absolutely. This is probably, of all the knives that I have here, the second oldest one that I have, and this is a ColdSteel Master Hunter in the Simi blade. Simi blade's got three steels inside of it. It's got a rigid spine. It's got a flexible outer edge, and then it's got an embedded. The actual edge of the knife is a softer steel, so you can sharpen it. So this is the VG1 Simi, and man, this is nice. I really dig this. I've used this on several hogs. Holds a nice edge to it, and the grip is really good. You can definitely butcher a whole animal. Has a nice shape for skinning, and then so. This knife's cool, for sure, but what is really cool is this custom sheath that I had made for it. And I got this off a guy on eBay. As soon as I find his contact info, I'm going to have Brian put it into the... I'm going to have him put it in the lower thirds with a link to the guy's website. Anyway, this is actually a very innovative... It looks pretty simple, but it's a very innovative sheath because, first of all, it's completely shaped to the blade. So this is rigid. And you can open this with one hand, right? When it's on your waist, you open it with your thumb, and you can pull the knife out, no problem, one-handed. The second part is this D-ring with this leather ring that goes on your belt loop. And when you're in the car or you're on horseback or whatever, the fact that this gives, I wore this all day, pretty much the entire trip when I was in Africa, and I never took it off.
You never know it's there.
You never know that it's super easy. And you have a super, in case of emergency, you got a little fire stick and it's always there. And this guy makes the whole thing. So you send him your knife and he will make it custom made to the knife. So it fits perfect.
So did you randomly find him on eBay or?
I did. I was looking for a sheath because I really don't like the plastic sheaths that the ColdSteels come with.
Okay.
Like that's another ColdSteel knife with the plastic sheath. And look, people dig that. It's very tactical looking, but I don't like that. I don't like, for hunting, I like leather. So I looked on eBay for used sheaths, Master Hunter ColdSteel. That's the beauty of the ColdSteel brand, that they've been around for so long that people make sheaths for them, right? So this was already pre-made, but he made it for this knife. And then when I realized that he could make me any sheath, then
a whole new world.
That's right. I felt like Ariel. So
oh, man. You don't have any problems carrying around with you in the field something that's like that size?
No. I like a bigger knife. I don't mind that it's heavier. Yeah. This is a tactical knife. Probably I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but this is a tactical knife. But because of this clip, this is the only ColdSteel that I kept the plastic sheath, because I could slide this into my boot. And this is my backup boot knife for when I go hunting.
How many knives do you have on you, on your person, when you go hunting?
2 or 3.
Wow.
Because there's different applications. So the little dudes, right? The little dudes like this, you'll always have with you.
Yeah.
Right? So you need something that size. Then you need something for butchering, something that's a butchering size. And then this is what I would consider in the protection range.
So you've got kind of your pocket knife, your butchering knife, and then you have a protection knife.
That's right. And that's, if you're hunting dangerous game, you go to Africa, you're hunting dangerous game, you should definitely have a protection knife that you have on you. Now, for my first trip to Africa, this was my protection, my skinning, and my all of it.
This one right here.
This one, yeah.
Okay.
That's why it's pretty scarred. The leather's pretty.
It's got
scarred.
character.
It's got character.
It looks good.
A lot. Yeah, I like it.
And I mean, from a hunting perspective, anything that you put in leather, or if you're carrying a knife like that, leather is going to be softer too. You never know out in the field as you're walking around, straps are hitting this.
It's
you got branches
noisy.
Hitting something. Leather is going to be a lot more quiet.
100%. Look at how much noise that makes. This is
right.
Dampened, right? Mm-hmm. So to your point, 100%.
And it makes sense. And, you take care of the leather and it'll last you a long time.
100%. So this is probably, of the sheaths, that's the oldest leather sheath that I have. This is the second one. So after he made me that, I sent him my coveted ColdSteel Master Hunter. So this is one of the original, I gave this knife to my dad, actually, probably 20 years ago.
And he took it back 19 years ago?
And, well, I found it in the safe. And, he was like, you should take it and use it. So I'm holding it for him. And they don't make this knife, actually, if he hadn't done all this crazy stuff to the blade, all that, I don't know what the hell he did to it, but he ran it under a stone. Now I could polish that out, but I don't want to get rid of the ColdSteel name. Mm-hmm. But my point is that this brass guard, they don't make it like that anymore. I have the newer version of this in a Semi 3, but this is made in the carbon steel, so this will rust if you don't have some oil on it. But anyway, this knife is it's a collector's, because it was one of the first. First of all, it was made in the U.S. when Lynn Thompson started ColdSteel. He would make them in Ventura, and this is any of the American-made ColdSteels are very, very collectible. So they're more money.
You're a ColdSteel fan.
I am for good reason, because they're really well made. They're purpose made, and they're impressive for what they are. They are true tools of the trade.
And what's the guy's name? The founder?
Lynn Thompson.
Lynn Thompson?
Lynn Thompson.
Here in California.
Here in California. He still lives here.
Yeah.
He does videos. He's got quite a few YouTube videos. He did YouTube videos when YouTube first came out.
Really?
Yeah, he used to sell. He made a bunch of videos on knife fighting and protection. with knives over the years, and he would sell them. In fact, I just bought, I think about a year or two ago, I found some on eBay, and I bought some old DVDs. So the same knife sheath maker that made that one made this one for me to my specifications, and this is more of a prototype because of the way that I put the belt loops, so I could carry this scout carry, which basically it would be horizontal. You carry it horizontally like this, but I don't carry it like that when I carry it. I carry it cross guard, just wedged under my belt. That's how I carry it. So I carry it that way because I can get to it from both hands in the event that I'm incapacitated in one hand.
So how often are you using that one versus this one?
This, when I go to Africa and when we're hunting dangerous game, I have this on my waist at all times.
See, something like that I could not take with me hiking.
You get used to it. You know, it's one of those things that, look, there's no purpose for it really if you're hiking in North America or if you're not hiking somewhere where there's dangerous games. If you went to Alaska and you were in bear country, yeah, you want that. You want that because this could be your weapon of last resort. You know, your defensive weapon of last resort. So it's all relative. It's all relative. It's heavy, but you get used to it. For a while there, I put it in the backpack, but I'm like, it's going to be useless to you if you need it. If you need it, you got to get to it really quick if you have an emergency. Yeah, in the words of Crocodile Dundee, that's not a knife.
That's a knife.
So this is a very nice little setup. In fact, I'm going to leave it out so that people can soak it in.
That's a big knife, man.
It's pretty badass, dude. It is really nice. So
and ColdSteel, how long ago? When did Lynn Thompson?
I think Lynn Thompson started this like in the 80s.
In the 80s?
I want to say it could have been maybe late 70s.
Okay.
So if you ask me what my current EDC knife is, this little Kershaw right here, made in the U.S. I like American-made stuff. I try and buy an American-made. I try and buy American-made. America. Now, Kershaw makes knives here in the States, and they have knives from overseas. You can check that out. That's a nice little blade, nice and light.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's the Magna Cut. So that's kind of like the newer steel.
Yeah, I've had a couple of Kershaws. It's funny because once you buy one knife, like it's I don't know what it is, but it's anytime I see a knife, I'm interested in that knife.
Yeah.
And you end up with this collection of knives.
Right.
And Kershaw, what was kind of fun was my cousin Matsu, who got married on the island of Lanai a while back, gave everyone in his court a nice little Kershaw pocket knife, and that was my first Kershaw blade. And it was one of those little mini flips, just like this, but it was of the katana style. And I loved that thing. That thing was just like super nice. And I went out on a hunt out here in California. It was a quail hunt. And I came to find out that when I got back to the truck, the knife was no longer in my pocket. And I was super bummed out about that. The fact that I had lost that knife. It was really nice. And I was like, oh, wow, that Kershaw knife, that thing is really good. But I agree, man. Kershaw is a great company. You can find it in so many different places. It's easily accessible to the consumers, so you don't have to go far. It's not something that you can only order online. You can go down to Big Five Sporting Goods. You can use that 10% off of $25 or more coupon that you receive in your email box every single day. And get yourself a Kershaw and know that you're grabbing a blade that is well made.
And you know, if you can, man, I would urge you to get an American-made one. Look, the stuff that's made overseas, Kershaw is really good too. But I like to support American jobs, man. I really do. And I think that the American-made stuff has a very nice finish to it. It's just a well polished, well put together deal. This is, by the way, to your point earlier, this is a Benchmade lock. So the patent ran out on Benchmade, and Kershaw started using their Benchmade lock, which is awesome because it's like ha 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 ha. It's like a little fidget device.
And it's super easy to use, right? It's
Sure.
like super convenient. This little locking mechanism there is just like right it's in the right place.
And it's really strong. It holds a lot of weight.
It does.
All right, moving along here. So we're not
Moving on.
This may look like to you a tactical knife, right? And it has a lock. I think this knife holds like 400 pounds. Like if you were to put a weight on it and put this in a vise, it could hold 400 pounds. It's a very strong lock. But the shape of it, the back shape of it, makes it a great skinning knife. This is probably one of the nicer knives that I've had. When we went to Texas that one year, I think you went that one year.
No.
Oh, you didn't go that year.
No.
So I think between 5 or 6 of us, we each shot 2 does each. I skinned probably 4 does with this and gutted them with this. It's amazing. It's super thin, super sharp. It's killer. Then last year when we went to Africa, this knife was used to butcher a large elephant. The skinners were fighting over this knife to use it because it just cuts really good and they really dug the ergonomics of it. And so this did an elephant and a crocodile.
That's the bigger version of the one that you had in Texas.
Yeah.
And that's not a ColdSteel, is it?
Yeah, that's a ColdSteel
ColdSteel?
Luzon.
Oh.
The ColdSteel Luzon, actually.
God, how many different models of knives does ColdSteel have?
You'll see the catalog it's enormous. It's like 200 knives.
Wow.
He's been making knives for a long time. And, people fall in and out of love with these things, right? So
right.
They're always innovating, and they don't run forever. I mean, they've got like the Trailmaster and probably half a dozen that are their bread and butter, and then they have stuff that they rotate in. But this knife, so I could tell you that this knife doubles for a practical knife for butchering animals, but it also is good for security because when you close it, this fits in your front pocket, no problem.
That's like a Shaquille O'Neal pocket knife.
Yeah. So this is mimicking like bamboo, the scales on it, these little slits.
Okay.
It's kind of cool, and you never have to worry that that the knife's going to close on you because it has this lock. So it locks one way, and then you push that forward, and it basically becomes a
fixed blade type of style knife.
Deal. Yeah. So this could be for butchering, or you could use it as a straight blade by locking it. This little lock mechanism there, it becomes a fixed blade.
Extra peace of mind.
Extra peace of mind, yeah. If a blade that big closes on you, you're gonna have a big problem.
I mean, the longer the blade too. I mean, especially on bigger animals, it's gonna help a lot when it comes to that skinning process, right?
Yeah. So this is one that I have not used in the field, but I did have. This is the 3rd sheath that I had made, and this is made to my specifications. This is a custom-made knife that one of the guys from the club made for me. Blank Page. Props to Blank Page. So it's a Damascus steel, and he made it in the shape of a buck 110.
He does a really good job too. Yeah. Those Damascus knives that he puts together are beautiful.
They're really cool. This is a very heavy knife. I probably would not carry that around. Take a look at that. It's really a heavy knife. But I love looking at it, and I had them make this leather sheath for me.
Look at that pattern right there on that spine, too.
Yep. Yeah, he ground that out and made a little kind of really cool pattern for it.
Look at that. That's really nice. And he takes pride in the knives that he puts together, and he does a really good job. I know the last CJ auction that we had at the club, he had a set of his Damascus knives.
Yeah, and sold well.
Yeah, sold well. To Jay. Shout out to Jay.
So that has
beautiful, man.
That has an olive scale on it, and it's Damascus, and it's the same cut same shape as a buck 110.
Yeah, it's really nice. This is a really nice knife.
So this guy made for me if you do the overhead shot. So he put the basket weave. Each one of these little things is an imprint. He did the basket weave for me. I probably drove him crazy for making this. And he put this is a feature that he has, and then I had him put a stone on the rear. And now this knife's ready to go. You pick up this knife, and it's good. It's good to go into the bush.
So the Damascus knife. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, so it rusts. This is really kind of I mean, you can either keep it really well oiled. You can use mineral oil if you're going to be using it to butcher animals.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, this is just a pretty piece to look at. I really enjoy looking at it. I have it on a magnet display on my wall, and I think it's a really cool looking blade.
Yeah, it's super nice.
If I took it into the field and got it full of blood and all that stuff, it'd be rusty pretty quick, and the Damascus maybe won't show as nice. So this is just conversation piece as far as I'm concerned. I like it. I love talking about it. All right, the next set of stuff.
I can imagine the conversations you have with that type of knife in hand.
Well, no, when people come over, I have it in my office in the rear, and if you come over and have a cigar with me at the office, and we have a little bit of whiskey and stuff, it's hanging on there. It's just something to talk about. So
right on.
So that's cool. Okay, so now I want to share with you some of the knives that I've bought while traveling.
Okay.
That's been the theme over the last few years.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you don't have to travel far to stop into a sporting goods shop and pick up a knife, right? Because I remember on our pheasant hunt in Lone Pine, as soon as we went into that little sporting goods shop that they have there, you were straight to the counter and looking at knives and ended up with an additional buck knife to add to your collection.
Absolutely. I always look for things that are unusual. This is a Beretta. This is actually, I found in Orange County. This was just at the Bolsa Gun Store. I was not looking for a knife there, but it kind of popped out at me, and it's made in Italy, and it's really well made. So this is not exactly one of my traveling knives, but I would consider this more like a gentleman's pocket knife.
Uh-huh.
It's a great looking little
I think
piece.
it's nice, man. I saw the handle on this thing, and I was like, hey, this thing's pretty sweet. It's got a good feel to it. And I understand the reference to a gentleman's knife because look at the pattern on this stuff. This is nice.
Yeah,
man.
it's hand checkered, and it's made out of, like a walnut. I think it looks cool. It's pretty cool.
This is. I like it.
So when we went to Europe with my family, I got up early and ditched my family for a few hours.
No.
They
say you didn't do that.
They like to stay up late and drink wine, and well, I did too. But I got up early this one morning, and I looked up. I was looking up knife shops. In Madrid, in Spain.
I mean, most people that are traveling to Europe from the U.S., that's exactly what they do.
That's exactly what they don't do. My wife was like, where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to the knife shop. You want to go? She's like, she just rolled over. She didn't even answer. She just rolled over. So this is the largest one that I got while over there. And this is made by Muela. An ancient, well, it's not ancient. It's probably, I think they started in the 50s, but they're very well known.
Okay.
This is the Buck knife of Spain, the Buck brand, right?
Okay.
This is an affordable knife, not insane. They make all kinds of different small knives, medium-sized knives. But this is the Javali. This is like for hog hunting. In Europe, it's a big thing. So this is your protection finishing knife for hog hunting. It's got a little blood groove there.
Yeah, I saw that one. That one could be widely used in Hawaii.
Yes, this is definitely a great piece to use on a Hawaii hog hunt. Bush
with dogs.
With dogs, yeah. Very nice blade, very acute point. I always test the point this way so I don't cut myself. And super tip-top knife. Now, a bit heavy, big knife though. So if you were just doing the hunt and you're not carrying a gun, if you're just doing a hog hunt in Hawaii with the dogs, not a problem, right?
Right. This thing's sick, man. And this came off of the Google search of knife shop in Europe. What part of Europe were you in?
Went to Spain and went to Italy, and I got some stuff in Italy too that we'll cover.
There it is, made in Spain.
All right. So the next one, this was a house brand, and this is your cowboy. If you're Spanish cowboy, this is what you would have. This is called the Criollo, I believe, and it has a stag handle, beautiful polish. I mean, look at the polish on that. Just a beautiful polish. Now, some of you may think, hey, this looks like a kitchen knife, right? So it turns out, and I'll let you fondle that a little bit. It turns out that
Simon.
Yeah. It turns out that like what you would consider a chef's knife, what most people would consider a chef's knife, is a medieval shape. It was the knife that did everything. You see, people were very poor, so you didn't have the luxury of having a bunch of different knives. You didn't have a boning knife or this. So that the knife that you basically had one knife and it had to do a lot of different tasks. And your common chef knife was for protection, was for, preparing meals. And that is their version in Spain of that knife. It's kind of
this looks like a kitchen knife.
It looks like a kitchen
knife. Like this would be in the drawer.
Yep.
And would be a kitchen knife.
Yep. But if you think about it, look at how long the blade is. If you're turning, if you're cooking stuff on a fire, you can poke it and flip stuff around, no problem.
But also too, it's got a nice feel to it that you could. I mean,
you got tomatoes.
You could do so much with this thing.
Yeah. This
is really nice.
It's a very practical knife. Yeah.
Wow.
And it's lightweight, not very heavy. Chances are you'll have it with you, and it came with a really nice leather sheath.
And this is why you were in Spain.
In Spain, yeah.
Okay.
So the last...
I really like this one.
I like that knife.
This thing is beautiful. Can I buy this online and use it as a kitchen knife?
You can.
They
have a catalog, Simone. So this is really... The next knife that I'm going to show you is really what I was there to find. What I was in search of.
So these are just these other ones thus far have been ancillary purchases.
Yeah, you could say that. I wanted to find what I interpreted as what many people that see this is a traditional Spanish knife. In the sense of the word. So it has a lock. This has a lock to close it. And this is all handmade there by their master knife makers. The scale is made out of deer horn, and all of this little end piece here. I think this is like a Moorish type of influence.
Okay.
From like the south part of Spain. And for those of you that know more about knives, please you can correct me in the comments below. And for you haters that don't know anything and still want to comment, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure the knife lovers are going to be like all over this episode.
So this is a traditional type shape of a knife. And man, this is like your everyday knife. In Spain. This would be your old school buck knife.
Okay.
And I bought a version of this in Italy at a swamp meet, and I wasn't able to keep it because we were going from country to country, and I wasn't able to check in my luggage, so I couldn't keep it. I wanted to mail it to myself.
Really?
But I couldn't. Yeah. Luckily, I only paid $15 for the other one. This was a lot more than that.
Dude, this thing is like sick. This is a piece that definitely would not be in my pocket, but would be on a shelf someplace in the house.
So I bought that from him, and he mailed it to me in Spain. When I went to Italy, I bought a couple more that I found in a tiny little knife shop in Italy, and the guy wouldn't mail them to me. So,
why?
Because he wasn't set up for it. I think he had to do the VAT tax and all the bullshit thing. He wasn't set up for it. So I took possession of them. We'll go over those in a minute. Well, I only brought one of them. Anyway, long story short, I had to mail it from... I had to mail it from the hotel so if we flew back from Rome into Madrid, and we stayed in Madrid overnight before we left, and I ended up mailing them. I was going to mail them to myself, but I couldn't because you have to show this paperwork that you paid the stupid tax and all this stuff. So
for a knife.
It was a pain in the ass. So I ended up mailing the Italian knives to the guy that I bought this from, and he did the paperwork for me, and he mailed me the whole thing. And for his trouble, I had seen this at the store, and I said, hey, man, add that for me and add this knife with the sheath for me, and I appreciate you doing it for me. Because he did I just paid for the shipping for the Italian knives. So because he went through the trouble of all that, and I think I woke him up, the time difference, he ended up answering the phone from his house. So I bought another knife, and I bought that sheath for him for his troubles.
Sounds like a great European vacation.
It was good. Which brings us, which is a good segue to the last knife. Drum roll, please.
We started off this segment with saying that you love knives made in the USA.
I do. I love buying U.S. knives in the U.S., but when I travel, I like buying cool artisan knives.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's kind of a.
When I get home, my wife's gonna be like, when we go to Europe this year, you're not going to the knife shop. Don't follow Langosta's footsteps.
Well, it's not good for your wallet, that's for sure. All right, so here we go. This I bought. This is a slip joint. This is old school cool. It's got an internal spring, and look at this beautiful thing right here. Look at from the overhead shot. So this is
That handle's nice.
that handle is sick. So this is sheep horn, polished sheep horn, stainless steel bolster, and this is a skinner's knife, trapper's knife, I guess you would call this shape. But killer, just a killer. Everything it's so beautiful. The handle's so nice.
Fontani. Yeah, this is nice, man.
I would never take that into the field. That's just at home to look at.
Carry around every once in a while, right?
Yeah. I'm not gonna get that full of guts and stuff. It's just it's a nice knife.
That's a nice looking blade right there.
It totally is. I love that thing. So I got that in Florence in a small little shop. My wife saw I kind of found that place by accident. We went to this belt place that made belts.
Okay.
So they had the leather there. They measure you. You can decide how thick you want your belt, how tall you want your belt. And so I got a black leather belt there, and I think Isabella's boyfriend bought a couple of belts from there. Real nice place. And 2 blocks down from there, the kids wanted to get some ice cream, so it was really hot. And on the way to the ice cream shop, there was a small, tiny little, it was the size of our studio. The entire knife shop was smaller than our studio. And there was this kind of Italian dude in there, and he kind of spoke a little bit of English, but not much. And I don't speak any Italian, but loose, I had to snatch her in there. She didn't want to go in there. And my wife luckily speaks a little bit of Italian. And between her broken Italian and my broken English, I was able to negotiate 2 knives. So I got that one, and I got a small, probably closer to that Beretta with the same type of handle. Super, super nice little knife, too. I got
So on the way to the ice cream shop, or was it the gelato shop?
It was going to gelato.
You're going to the gelato shop. You found another knife shop.
I did find another knife shop. And the guy looked at me a little bit weird because this was not that sharp. And I was like, hey, can you sharpen this? Do you have a sharpener? He's like, it is not sharp. It is sharp. And he starts like cutting the callus on his finger. I was like, dude, don't cut your finger off. Like, you don't need to sever your finger to show me that the thing's sharp. Anyway, he had this
shop.
Yeah, I was just kidding. The guy was making me nervous. So anyway, he brings out this huge wheatstone, and he wets it, and he starts fucking grinding the shit out of it. And yeah, he made it pretty sharp. So I haven't touched this since he did it. It's still pretty sharp. I don't use it for anything other than looking at it. And that is my Florentino knife and experience. For those of you, by the way, listening on the podcast, you might want to go over to the YouTube, and that way you could see the actual knives that we have on here.
Yeah, they're beautiful. They're worth seeing. And that has been a very well put together tour of you've taken us from the U.S. to Europe, and I imagine we're going to come back to the U.S.
Well, we are going to come back to the Aztec Nation, because the last knife that I bought on my travels,
so we're not done on the tour yet.
No, we got one more that you might find interesting.
That thing is.
So this is nothing but Aztec amazingness.
That's straight gangster.
Yes, sir. This is an obsidian blade made out of volcanic glass. Now, this is a replica. This is made in a factory outside where they're still mined. The original mines that the Aztecs used to acquire the obsidian is there. And they would make spearheads out of it, arrowheads out of it, and they would make these knives. These knives were used as, this was their kitchen knife of the time.
Yeah.
And as you know, glass is pretty damn sharp. So before they could they forge steel, they used this. This is so the factory owner was actually a really, really interesting cat. He gave me a tour of the factory, and he gave me a little bit of the history. He said that Mexico, the economy of the Aztec civilization was based on the maguey and on obsidian. So they would use the raw material and make knives and make clubs and would sell it. That was part of the economy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And going back to the days of like hunters and gatherers and where this all began, I mean, the materials, obsidian was, obviously not just in Mexico, but it was all over the place, sure. Right? Yeah. And, arrowheads, knives, and going back to like the Native Americans and their use of this type of material. I mean, this is where it all started. Yeah. It started with this.
Yeah. The fact that they had such a large mind for this, man, so not only did they make this, they also made a lens. They would polish this. I should have brought it. And they made a lens so that they could look at the sun and study the stars.
Really?
They could study the sun in the daytime, and you could use it to see a solar eclipse.
So they got it thin enough to where they could use it for that.
Yes, the power of the rays of the sun,
yep.
and the way that the glass structure is on the inside is clear. It's like a lens. It's really cool. So I bought a small one. We're going to go back to Mexico, and I'm definitely going to buy like a big one. They make like a plate one that was more money.
You're going back soon.
So I'm definitely going to get that, and I don't know, see what else I find over there.
And for those of you that have never handled obsidian, like it literally gets sharp. It gets really sharp.
So they didn't make that this sharp. You could still chip away a little bit at this. But the stuff that they had in the museum in Mexico City, and we'll put some pictures of that. This edge is super thin. It is razor sharp.
It's razor sharp, man.
Yeah,
that thing will do some damage. With just holding that thing, you've got to be careful.
Yeah, and it's got some weight. So they would make a hatchet, and they would put a few of these in there, and they would embed it into the wood and tie it. And use they would make little notches in it,
kind of like a serration.
Yeah, so that it wouldn't cut the twine. And it was a weapon. It was like a club weapon, an edged weapon, like an axe.
Yeah,
a small axe. Yeah,
pretty damn fucking lethal.
So those are my travel knives.
Oh,
so the next segment, JoJo, is some of the tactical knives.
Okay. So we're moving on over to tactical from the hunting.
Right on. So these are the tactical knives.
The tactical.
Now, not all of these are mine. This and this is my dad.
Okay.
So, let's start with the big one.
That's what she said.
What you would call ridiculous.
Is that what you call a pocket knife?
That's a knife.
Is a knife.
That's a sword.
It is. So this is called the Natchez Bowie. Natchez, Louisiana? Natchez, Louisiana, yeah. So anyway, there's a famous story where Jim Bowie defended himself with a knife. And no one really knows what the true shape of the Bowie knife is, or Bowie. But this is ColdSteel's interpretation of it. And it's a beautiful knife. My dad bought this. And these are kind of insane now. They're like $300.
That thing is like legit.
That's a knife.
It's super sharp. It's very heavy. It's very pointy. It's a serious knife.
Yeah, literally Crocodile Dundee style.
Yeah,
like this thing is, dude.
That's a knife.
So
this makes you feel like a man.
I don't use that very often. It's definitely it's a wall hanger.
Yeah, what would you use this for?
For defense. That's if I run out of ammo, we got something to do with.
Wow.
Yeah.
This thing's a beast.
So the same sheath maker that made those other nice leather ones for me made the sheath for this. This is a ColdSteel Tanto.
Uh-huh.
And this is
a
scout carry. This basically with your thumb. It's ambidextrous, so you can pull it out left-handed or right-handed. And this is a Tanto blade, really a very nice ColdSteel Master Tanto.
That thing is nice. I like that blade. I like that blade kind of shape and everything like that. That pocket knife that I was talking about earlier from Kershaw, it had that style of blade, that katana Tanto style.
Yeah, very heavy, thick spine.
And it's another ColdSteel?
That's another ColdSteel. I'm a big fan of ColdSteel, as you can tell.
Yeah, I can tell, man.
Look at that spine. That spine's killer, man.
And it's got that width all the way through the blade,
All
too.
the way back, yeah. This is a skull crusher back here. You can actually break. There's videos of the ColdSteel guys breaking cinder blocks with this thing from the impact.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very nice, so check that out. It's got a nice weight to it.
Yeah, this is nice. The Master Tanto.
You know, I bought that so in California, you have to, if you're going to carry a blade that's that big, you have to have it on your waist in a sheath. And it's legal. You can totally carry it.
Okay.
So I had him make me this. I figured I'd use this for motorcycle riding. I didn't want it dangling when I rode my Harley.
Mm-hmm.
So I had him make me this thing. And it's basically scout carry, so it just goes parallel to the ground.
Got it.
Instead of swinging this way. So I haven't used this yet, but I want to.
This thing is nice, man.
Yeah.
Feels good.
The one that I've been carrying more is this thing.
So do you match your knife to what you're wearing or what?
Well, exactly. Funny you should say that.
I'm going to wear my khakis and bust out my Master Tanto.
So this is all relative to what it is that you're doing, right? So this knife here, if I was going back to Africa, I would totally carry that.
Why?
Okay? Because the hunting boots that I have, those tall leather boots,
yeah,
that I'm sure you guys make fun of me when I walk away. Until you find out that there's snakes there, and everybody's like, "What? There's snakes there? There's not supposed to be snakes here." So anyway, this I fit in between the boot, and it has this clip. So I put this inside of my boot, and it clips to the outside of the boot, and I put it on my left side.
Yeah, that one looks like a knife throwing knife.
You could. It's a full tang deal, so you can toss it. You can. Yeah, this is kind of serious business for a protection knife.
Wow.
So it's called the Peacekeeper 2.
The Peacekeeper.
Yes, it sure is.
What a fitting name for that knife there.
It's pretty skanky. You know, obviously I drag it through all the stuff when
that's got that dagger look to it too.
It definitely is. So that's not a good. Can't carry it in your boot in the city. It's a big no-no. But when you're out hunting, who cares?
What are the laws? Do you know the laws for knife carry in California?
Pretty much. It's actually, for as crazy restrictive as we are with guns, it's very lenient with knives.
Really?
This is considered a dirk or dagger, so that has to be on a sheath and it has to be exposed. As long as it's exposed that you can see it, it's good, but you have to carry it on your waist.
Ah.
So if you leave California, like in Colorado and stuff, you can, I don't know Colorado laws, but I still carry it exposed in the boot. And when I go to Africa, it'll be in my boot.
And for those of you out there, all of this, if you are traveling, belongs in your checked luggage.
Yes, don't bring it along on the carry-on. Otherwise, you're going to have a very delayed response.
Yes.
So this is another ColdSteel. This is the Voyager. Love this blade. This is actually one of Lynn Thompson's favorite knives. And this and the Vaquero. Super cool. You can grip it. There's a few different grips. So you can grip it this way for a maximum extension. You can grip it like this, or you can choke up on it and grip it like that.
That thing is aggressive.
Yeah, it's serrated, so it goes through everything. And it has this little belly. Sorry, this way. It has this belly, and it traps whatever in there.
That's like the stuff the bad guys on Aladdin carried. Whoa!
It goes through everything. A little bit of pressure, and it goes through everything.
Brian, we need another pencil on set, please.
I'll give you one more for action.
JoJo, let him borrow your pencil so we can see that again on camera.
It goes through everything.
Oh, man.
This is a very good, think about it. Look how small this is. It has a pocket clip. It's totally legal. Carry it in your pocket. No problem.
Carry it in your pocket and nothing else.
Yeah. You are armed if you have something like this.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
You're armed.
That thing will do some damage, man.
Now, most people don't. So if you ask me why it is that I have ColdSteel or that I like it, Brian, do the overhead. I want to bring attention to this little piece here. This thing is part of what's called
Do you need a new pencil?
the triad lock. But this big cut in here rests against a dowel, a pin, and it holds like 600 pounds. If you were to put this in a vise and clip on weight, it would hold over 600 pounds.
That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight. So what this means is that this will not close on your fingers. It's made to handle rough. You can do bushcraft stuff with it. You can use this obviously for protection. And the serration cuts through everything. It'll cut through seat belts. It'll cut through clothing. It'll cut through, well,
Yeah. That's not going to be your skinny knife for sure.
No. Now, they do make a smooth blade one that I suppose you could use that. But this is also a stabbing knife. It has a very acute point. And when you hold it this way, wherever your thumb points, it lines up perfectly. Let me borrow your pencil again.
Here you go, sir.
It lines up perfectly with the nose of the blade.
Ah.
See that? So wherever you point your thumb is where the tip will go. Yeah. So again, you hold the knives like Lynn teaches. You hold the knives like you hold the sword with your thumb this way. Anyway, that's cool. That's a cool little blade. The last one is my favorite, but I've not carried it in the field.
Okay.
And I don't carry it in California because it's scary looking. But it's this bad boy here. And you may ask, why would I buy such a knife?
Oh, so why would you buy such a knife?
This is the Black Bear Classic by ColdSteel in a Simi 3. This is a double-edged blade. This is a fighting knife. It has a heavy guard, and it has this to hold the knife so you can actually pull it back. It has a palm swell. So go overhead. This has a palm swell, so it really fits in your hand, and it creates an isometric lock between this part here, when you pull the knife back out, and the palm swell, and the little kind of trigger guard thing. And it's all solid steel. You see the steel going this way, and the steel and the guard, the other part of the guard here. This is a fighting knife. There's a video on YouTube of a guy saving his father's life in Africa from a buffalo attack. He used the less expensive version of this, but it's the same blade. It's the Black Bear Classic. And he stabbed the buffalo to death while the buffalo was trampling his father. And they couldn't shoot. He didn't have a rifle. The rifle was tossed out of the professional hunter's hand. And I think the hunter that was hunting with them had a panic attack and ran with the cameraman. So there's video of the son of the professional hunter stabbing the buffalo. And when he pierced it, he would dig down. And made these huge, deep gashes into the lungs of the buffalo. And he killed the buffalo, saved his father's life with this knife.
That's crazy.
So I thought that was really cool. And this was on sale. I don't remember what online store this was that I bought this on, but it was on sale. It was probably like the end of the run. It wasn't selling because, I don't know. This is
not everybody's buying that for their,
and it's heavy.
Oh, yeah.
It's heavy. It's a big ball of steel.
Yeah. Big Black Bear Classic.
Yeah. So they make a one with a polymer grip, and that's the one that the guy had in South Africa. But you can see the video. You can look it up and check it out. It's pretty graphic.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
We'll make sure to put that link to that video in the description below so you guys can see it.
Yeah.
It sounds like an awesome video. I definitely want to take a look at that.
Yeah, I think
it's interesting too, just the way that this blade is shaped. You can easily forget that this is double-sided because it's got the shape as if you're gonna have some type of backbone there. But don't forget, this side is sharp.
So the reason the daggers, and most people don't know this, but the reason the dirks or daggers are so maybe frowned upon, or there's laws against them, is because much like the double-edged bayonets, there's no way that the vascular surgeons can stitch you up. If you get cut with that, you're not going to make it. There's no way. It cuts so deep and the wound channel so large that the loss of blood is insane. Thus, he killed a buffalo with it, and he probably stabbed it about a dozen times. But I mean, if you think about how big the lungs on a buffalo are, they're pretty big.
I can imagine the adrenaline that guy had as he was going through that process. That must have been just ridiculous.
Yeah. So again, that's just it's a wall hanger for me, but the quality of it is amazing. You know, it was not an insanely expensive knife. I think it was it was like $180. I think I got that knife, maybe $2.
Mm-hmm.
I think they would go for. There's some MSRP for like $400, but I didn't pay that for it. So, and I haven't had him make me the knife maker make me a sheath for it. I don't even know what.
What are you going to do with that thing beside being a wall hanger?
Yeah. So the other thing too is I would never carry that like I carry my Trail Master, because my Trail Master I carry cross draw. Because that blade is sharp, I'm scared that when I pull it out, I'll actually cut my belly. You know, granted, I have a little bit more belly than most people have, but I'm terrified that would happen. So this, because I pull it when I unsheath it, the blade is away from my body, right? It's facing this way. That one's both ways. So I don't know. I just don't see a practical way of carrying that. I think it's really cool to own, but not really on my carry rotation.
Yeah, I bet, man. But it's pretty damn cool to own. This thing is like, you don't see this every single day.
Yeah. No, it's a neat piece. And plus, you know, that story, and then people watch that video, man, I think they'd be pretty impressed of what you can do with a knife like that.
I bet.
I definitely want to take a look at that video. It sounds intense.
Yeah. Well, the banjo is calling. I think Randy's in the studios.
I think it's time that we bring in cousin Randy.
Randy, is that you out there?
Randy.
All right, let me go. Let me vacate the premises and go get Randy.
Let's see if we can locate Randy. But for those of you that are tuned in, again, thank you guys very much for checking us out here at Rifles, Rods, and Broads. Be sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and my youngest daughter is starting to teach me about TikTok. So maybe one of these days we'll have a TikTok, because supposedly everybody needs a TikTok.
JoJo, you better get your dancing shoes on, because there's a lot of dancing on TikTok.
Oh, man, I'll get my dancing shoes on for the TikTok stuff and, play some music and maybe some Sabrina Carpenter, who I learned about just a couple of weeks ago. But again, thank you guys very much for joining and subscribing. We are now up and over 200 subscribers. So to all 218 current subscribers, mahalo for tuning in each and every time. And right now is a great time to remind you guys that we plan to go live on every first Tuesday of the month. We're going to be streaming live on Facebook as well as our YouTube channel. We've learned from the past what not to do, so we'll continue doing the things that we can do to bring you that live coverage with myself and Langosta. If you guys have any emails, any suggestions, any comments, feel free to send us an email or a comment on any one of our videos. We check them all the time. It is the holiday season, so we do have to wish each and every one of you, your family and your friends, a happy holiday. We hope that you had a wonderful Thanksgiving and hope that you have a very Merry Christmas as well. And now, without further ado, we bring to you Cousin Randy.
Well, boys and girls, cousin Randy over here. We're going to do a little bit of mullet mail. How you doing, JoJo, over here?
How's it, Randy? I'm good, man. How about you?
Man, I'm good. I'm going to get a little nervous because all the little sharpness steel in here got over here. But, we'll see if we can get through this mullet mail without peeing my pants.
How was your Thanksgiving? So how did you do up that turkey, or did you even eat turkey for Thanksgiving?
Well, we do more like spam. It's like a spam turkey. I had one of my girlfriend's little hippie mother-in-law. She had a little tofuki, and I had to run out of there and go get some spam.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that spam with friends and family and had yourself a wonderful Thanksgiving. We're thankful to always have you here on the show.
Well, I appreciate that. So We got any airmail? We got some mail in here.
We got some mail. So somebody paid the postage of the United States of America and sent us in some mullet mail
Baby.
just for you, Randy.
Oh, we got the special mullet mail. Boys and girls, if you're gonna send a little cousin Randy a little message, you make sure you can email it over there.
And it never fails, man. Our fans, your fans in particular, always have great stuff to share with our audience.
Make sure you send it over to mullet mail at the Raffles Rods and Broads. All right. So let's get into it. I got my reading spectacles on here due to the fact that I'm going blind due to my old age and stuff like that. But we're trying to get through my rheumatoid arthritis in here. All right. Today's mullet mail message is from James. James writes, Dear Randy. My name is James from Santa Rosa, California. Big fan of yours, Langosta and JoJo. I'm writing to you because it looks like you're a fan of quality blades. Whoa. I guess he knew we were having some
ColdSteel.
Some steel action. Well, sadly, my vintage Buck 110 folding knife was gifted to me by my father when I made Eagle Scout. Finally gave out. It served me well all these years. Working on a ranch, I use my knife daily. What model knife or brand knife do you recommend for my next purchase? Maybe Santa can bring me a little brand new knife since I've been a good little boy in 2024. Well, James, it so happens that you asked a question in a fortunate moment. Now, Randy here, due to the fact that I have limited funds and my credit score is down to 440, which happens to be a good steal, but not a good credit score. We got a little problems. So we got to deal with what we got here. And I think that for the money, you should consider yourself a little bit of ColdSteel, because what you get for your ColdSteel is a lot of penetration. Now,
Penetration counts.
Yeah, penetration counts. And if you're a little bit, let's say you got a short blade, you need to get yourself an upgrade into a longer blade, particularly a 6-inch blade. That tends to solve a lot of problems. Now,
Properly coated.
all right. So if you got yourself a little Buck 110, you could consider another little Buck 110, and you have a little bit of fun in that. And that's still made in America. But if you don't mind shopping in the Asian aisle, you could consider yourself a nice little piece by the ColdSteel situation, made in Taiwan. Now, if you had a little bit of rich blood in you, boy, you got a little bit of a little hoochie mama deal, and she had some cash, you could consider a ColdSteel Magna Cut on sale right now at the Midway USA for $1.95. So those would be my recommendations. You could go a little bit higher end, spend $1.50, $1.95, or you go American. I mean, and there's nothing wrong with America. America's good. It could be about $85 and get yourself another little Buck 110. You know what I'm saying? All right. So we got any other mail today?
We got no other mail, but I'm sure for our next episode, we'll have additional mullet mail coming your way, Randy.
Kids, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you like and subscribe. And if you haven't done so, send me a little mullet mail action so I could stay employed and get myself another little blade due to the fact that I got limited funds and a 540 credit score, or 440 credit score, excuse me.
Hey, this time of year, though, Randy, it is the time of year, and you gave some great advice. It's now the time to buy because the sales are on.
Absolutely. Get your little black sale, little Black Friday sale, little Black Monday sale. I mean, you could buy it on Tuesday, honestly. I mean, who's counting on it anyway? But it's free. It's free. You could get yourself a little Santa list going there and submit it to the person who got the most cash that you know.
There you go.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, if you hang around broke people like I spent a lot of my youth in, go ahead and stop calling those people and delete them from your phone and get yourself a couple pals over here that have a little bit more cash. And if you're having trouble finding yourself some pals that are into the hunting and fishing situation, you may want to head over to the Rod and Gun Club, where you may find some misfits just like you that may be willing to give you a little knife or an auction. I saw some pretty cheap knives at an auction.
Hey, they go for real cheap in the CJ auctions.
Yeah, CJ auction got some good little stuff there. And if you haven't done so again, and you want to find a way to find yourself a little chickadoodle, make sure you perfect your calls. You never really know what the females will respond to, but my thinking is that you should have a little bit of a call of every nature to attract yourself a little chickadoodle.
Nothing works better than a call, especially when things are in season.
That's right. Yeah, you need to get yourself a little girl in season. Well, this is Randy from a Mullet Mail signing out, kids.
Well, mahalo, cousin Randy, for joining us again. Your fan base continues to grow, and we really, truly appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks, guys. Look forward to next week's episode of Mullet Mail. Make sure you send them in. If you haven't done so already, go to Mullet Mail at Rifles, Rods, and Brides.
So for those of you, cousin Randy joins us quite a bit. He is Langosta's cousin from some other place here in this great country of America, but he flies in on a weekly basis and joins us on the show, and his fan base again is growing.
Yeah, I think poor Randy's going to have some hard times getting a flight out of Pensacola because he likes to fly Spirit, and I think they're having some trouble. So,
what airline's that?
Spirit, I think it's called. So we're definitely going to have to pitch in, help him out since we're going to be going live every first Tuesday from now on. So
every first Tuesday, we are looking forward to it. So this has really been a good episode talking about knives. Langosta, welcome back.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Back in the hot seat. And it is hot. I don't know what Randy did on here, but it is lightly warm.
I can,
yeah.
I can smell what Randy did on this.
It could have happened. It could have happened quickly. It could have happened when I sat down. I didn't realize it. I don't know. But we're going to blame Randy, okay? JoJo, kick the dog out. We got a dog in here somehow. I think you know the dog is in here.
Man, this episode has been really good talking about knives. Knives are just so interesting, and it's definitely evolving. Besides the knives that we showed here today, especially in the hunting industry, there's a company out there called the Montana Knife Company. And I've been intrigued by the MKC Montana Knife Company, and I've talked about it a couple of times while I've been out on hunts, kind of driving from area to area. But what intrigues me is just the way that they're doing their marketing. Their market is really taking pride in the fact that everything is manufactured here in the U.S., literally out of the owner's garage is where it all started. But the cool thing about the Montana Knife Company that's kind of attracting a crowd and a cult following, is what I'd call it, really, is the fact that they do special knife drops with these different companies. And they'll send you an email, or it'll be on social media, and it'll say knife drop or Remy Warren elk horn blade coming to you in 2 days. Make sure that you're ready to buy. And they've got this full-on countdown clock.
Wow!
And because they're a small company, they can only make so many.
Yeah.
So people are just standing by for these knives that MKC are making, and they'll drop, and within an hour, all their knives are sold out.
Wow.
And we're talking, these knives are like $300, $400, $500.
That's crazy.
For one knife, and they sell out super fast. And just as an example, I'm a big fan of Remy Warren. I think the guy is just very educational. He's a great hunter. Been doing it for a long time. I've learned a lot. I enjoy listening to him. He came out with his elkhorn blade that he created with the Montana Knife Company, sold out really fast. It's probably not going to be back for at least a few months, if that. And if you got lucky and say you're just in the market to purchase and resale,
right,
you can make some money off that thing, man.
Yeah.
Because go on to eBay right now, that elkhorn knife is going to cost you close to $700.
Holy smokes.
It's crazy.
That's crazy.
But they're doing a great job. They put out some great quality products. I myself, I have not held one yet. I've heard, and I'm speaking from the experience of reviews, but I'm pretty sure, because I'm a sucker for sales and anything hunting, that I will soon, maybe on our episode 2 or our volume 2 of Knife Talk, will one day be showcasing a Montana Knife Company.
Yeah, if you get one,
knife.
let's do a little review on it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens, man. That's the sound
of the end.
That's the call of the end.
So we got to wrap this thing up, man.
Yeah, let's wrap it up. Thank you guys very much.
Guys, thanks for watching. If you haven't done so again, hit that little bell, like and subscribe, comment below. This is Langosta and JoJo coming to you from our studios. Rifles, rods, and broads.
Straight from Redondo. Mahalo for listening.